Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its mission? To explore strange new worlds, to discover new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Feathered Serpent.
Captain's log, stardate 5097.3. Starfleet reports major military activity in the Klingon sector near Krakur, a planet on the edge of Klingon space. Intelligence indicates that the Klingons are mobilizing a large fleet to search for a renegade who is responsible for a disruption of unknown nature on that planet. Federation sensors have found a faint energy trail leading to the planet Zam-4 in the Digifal system. We've been ordered by Starfleet to track down the source of the energy and discovered what happened on Krakur before the Klingon fleet enters Federation space. If we are not successful, the Federation and the Klingon Empire may find themselves at war once again.
Okay, hello, welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek 25th Anniversary. Now, we will talk to Mr. Spock first.
Nothing to report, Captain.
And do our homework. So, let's start off with Klingon.
Klingons. A humanoid life form that has used genetic manipulation to stratify their population. Their homeworld is Kling. Klingons' culture is based on the principle of survival of the fittest, either through guile or physical force. Principles of honor are used to prevent the culture from killing itself completely. But these principles are extended outside their species only to non-Klingons who have proved themselves in battle. Negotiations over planets in the disputed area have been slowly advancing, hindered by recent Klingon technological exchanges with the Romulans. The Klingon Empire itself is economically backward and poorly organized, but their military force is extremely formidable.
Alright, let's look at their homeworld then.
Kling, core world of the Klingon Empire, possibly mythical. Location unknown to Federation. Klingons.
It's worth noting that, in most of Star Trek, that world's actually referred to as Kronos instead of Kling. Let's see. Krakur? Yeah.
Krakur 4. A world in Klingon space, which has belonged to the Empire for at least 4 generations, governed by the Kenka family. The population of Krakur is not known.
Krakur. Okay, let's look up Kenka.
Kenka, Vlicht. A member of the Kenka family, an old Klingonese family of noble origins, the governing family of Krakur. Vlicht is the first Kenka to reach flag rank, and as such, has been posted back away from the frontier. Vlicht has 2 sons in the service, but nothing is known of his wife or other children. He is believed to be the current commander of the Klurta, and one of the most respected commanders in the Klingon fleet. He is said to be an avid fencer.
Alright, let's see if we can find information on the ship.
Klurta, flagship of the Klingon Empire, a modified Klingon heavy cruiser. The Klurta engaged and severely damaged the USS Constellation before the Organian Treaty was put into effect at Alpha Aquila 7. The ship has seen little action since then, having been given the post of being the Emperor's flagship. The current commander is Admiral Vlicht Kenka. Its first officer is Borin Kalarax. Both are considered highly competent officers with extensive battle experience.
Alright, We got a lot to look up from that.
Constellation USS. A Constitution-class starship commanded by Commodore Matthew Decker, which was destroyed in battle against an alien vessel believed to be a doomsday machine.
Okay, I guess we can't look up Decker.
Organian Treaty. A peace treaty between Klingons and the Federation, inspired by the Organians. The Organians have enough power to stop all starships everywhere, so the peace will be maintained de facto, whether anyone wants it or not.
Okay, we can't get any information on that system. Let's see if we can get information on the first officer.
Calarax. Borin. First officer of the Klingon flagship Klurta. Borin's father, Rajat, is the governor of Sagrad, deep within the Klingon Empire. Borin Calarax is noted for his competency and his loyalty to his commander, Admiral Vlikt Genka.
Okay, so... don't have any information on his father. Or on the planet his father commands. So with that, I think that was all off of Rakur. So let's go to Zamfor.
Zamfor, the third planet in the Digifal system, a Class M world. See Digifal. Digifal, a system near the Klingon neutral zone. Digifal contains 2 habitable planets, Digifal 3 and Digifal 4. Digifal 3, also known as Zamfor, contains ruins of a civilization that abandoned the planet approximately 20,000 years ago and has been declared a protected world for archaeological reasons.
Alright, I think that's all we can do for now. So Mr. Sulu, bring us a full impulse. Let's see, we need to go Digifal number 7. It's gonna be this guy.
Captain, a Klingon battle cruiser has entered the system.
Open hailing frequencies. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. Klingon battlecruiser, you are in Federation space. You must leave immediately.
I am Commander Taras of the Nizra. We are in pursuit of a genocidal criminal. We are performing an act of mercy in removing him from your space. Naturally, you will remove your vessel from this system, for your own safety, of course.
I think we can take care of ourselves, Taraz, which is more than I can say for you, if the Nizra does not leave Federation space at once. You are in direct violation of the Organian Treaty, mister. If you have a problem, have your fleet commander take it up with them. If a Federation criminal were to pass into Klingon space, you'd be saying the same thing to me. Who do you think you're trying to fool, Taraz? Get your ship out of here now. I think we can take care of it. You are in direct violation of the Organian Treaty, mister. If you have a problem, have your fleet commander take it up with them. If a Federation criminal were to pass into Klingon space, you'd be saying the same thing to me.
If we are not allowed to capture this criminal, Captain, you may do this for us. We insist that we remain here to monitor the situation, but we will take no action, provided that you can bring him to us in 12 hours.
Agreed. Vessels of war are not allowed in Federation space. You will pull back to the Organian neutral zone, and do so immediately. Agreed.
Okay, so we do not have to engage Klingon. He is moving off. Mr. Spock, do you have anything to say?
Nothing to report, Captain.
Alright. We do have a little more information. Let's look up the Nizra.
Topic not available.
Taras.
Topic not...
Okay, so we can't look him up. In that case, let's orbit the planet.
Entering standard orbit.
Sure, is there anyone we can raise down there?
Hailing frequencies open.
Mr. Spock, are there life signs?
I have pinpointed the source of the energy trail from Rakur.
Or try again.
Hailing frequencies open.
I have pinpointed the source of the energy trail from Rakur.
I guess there's nothing we can do, so organize the landing party, Mr. Spock.
Assemble a landing party. Unless we find this so-called criminal, we're going to war.
There is a tall, slender, dark-haired man looking intently at you. You are James Tiberius Kirk, captain of the USS Enterprise.
Nice looking little jungle we got here.
McCoy is fidgeting around. Spock is analyzing the surroundings. Lieutenant Strachey is carefully eyeing the humanoid. You see dense vegetation in all directions. It looks like the jungle has grown up into a small hut. Luminescent insects swarm near a large tree. The moon of Digifal. Legend says that the gods of good and evil fortune live there and will glance back at those who look at them, and either a miracle or a catastrophe will soon befall those who gaze upon it.
Oh, well. Hopefully we can expect
the log appears sturdy enough to cross.
Hopefully we can expect our miracles soon.
I'm just a security officer, sir.
You get no response.
Jim, that man is dressed in ancient Aztec clothing.
I believe you are mistaken, Doctor. His clothing bears a distinct resemblance to fashions of a much later period.
Mr. Spock, what do you have to say?
The humanoid's adornments appear similar to those worn by leaders of Earth's early 20th century inhabitants of the South American continent.
What do you know about Earth culture? He looks like an ancient Aztec.
He doesn't seem to be in a talk. He doesn't seem to be in...
Okay, Kirk's not talkative. So, Spock, record readings.
Nothing to report. I am picking up multiple life forms in the surrounding region, Captain.
Okay, McCoy.
He appears human. All life signs are normal, but I'm getting strange energy readings near the base of the pituitary gland.
Interesting. Alright, I guess we should finally talk to him.
Greetings, my children. I can barely imagine that you have come so far.
I am Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. Did you know the Klingons are looking for you? I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. What did you do to get the Klingons so upset? We're not your children, and we don't appreciate this wild goose chase you forced us into. I'm Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. What did you do to get the Klingons so upset?
Quaint expression. I have done nothing to anger them. I did with them what I have done with everyone.
And exactly what would you have done with them? Entering Klingon space for anything puts the peace in peril. Whatever you did has them very upset. They're raiding worlds looking for you. And exactly what would you have done with them? Entering Klingon space for anything puts the peace in peril.
Jeopardize the peace? Hardly. Peace is what I preach. I am Quetzalcoatl, as you well know from the proud history of your world.
Quetzalcoatl? How fitting you would name yourself after one of the most bloody-handed gods in Earth's history.
Bloody-handed? My people love peace.
Your followers regularly sacrificed other believers to you after you left, offering you their still-beating hearts. Ha! You mean your followers loved pieces? They slaughtered other believers hoping you'd return. Your followers regularly sacrificed other believers to you after you left, offering you their still-beating hearts.
Impossible. You must be lying.
And then your followers were destroyed, because when white men arrived on that continent, they were believed to be you in your promised return. Your people perverted your teachings, then were destroyed by it.
Foul, lying creatures! My gift was wasted upon you! Be gone!
Hey. Oh.
We are not the inheritors of the noble Aztec world. What you have said has greatly disturbed me. You should not lie so. You shall remain here until you have learned the error of angering Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, that wasn't very nice.
James T. Kirk does not seem very happy with his current predicament. Spock is carefully examining the pit. McCoy is examining the floor of the pit. Lieutenant Strachey is carefully examining the pit. Lieutenant Strachey is... This particular snake doesn't seem to like your company and moves whenever you get near it. Spock is carefully McCoy is examining... There are rocks here quite suitable for picking up and throwing. There is a vine hanging down into the pit. There is a light suspended from above by a chain. There are several loose vines hanging over the side of the pit out of reach. This is one of them. There are several loose vines. You are in a deep pit. It is a long, hard climb to the top.
Alright.
Do I look like Houdini to you? I'm afraid you're going to have to pull the rabbit out of the hat on this one.
Those vines would be useful to escape, if we could reach them.
He doesn't seem to be in a talkative mood right now.
No enemies in sight, but supplies could be a problem if we don't get out.
You get no response.
Of course, the snake doesn't talk to us. Let's use,
I'm picking up residual energy readings from the area where the alien's projection was. I'm picking up residual... It looks like a Xanthorian pit snake, a rather common species in this region, noted by galactic herpetologists for their quickness. It is not venomous or dangerous to humans.
Okay, can we pick him up? Nope, he just runs away. But we can pick up
You
these
pick up
rocks.
some rocks from the pile.
And we saw he went, actually, can we...
There is a tiny hole in the wall at this point. Certainly no human could crawl through here.
Oh, what if we block it? Never mind.
You fail to obtain...
Do we... Apparently we still have rocks, so...
The vine will not support you. The vine will not support...
So... We can try to get these, rocks, or use the rocks to throw them on the vines and get those down.
Fascinating. It did appear to knock the vine down near to the point where one of us can reach it.
Didn't they have baseball on Vulcan? Show us your fastball, Jim.
Baseball? No one plays that anymore. Good try, though, sir.
Actually, can we talk to the, First off, can we...
This snake is just waiting for a chance to sink its fangs into someone, especially young Starfleet security officers.
Does he say anything?
No enemies in sight, but...
No, he just gives his canned dialogue. Can we actually talk to this snake?
Fascinating. Our communicators have apparently been rendered ineffective.
Okay, well, let's finish taking this vine down.
Nothing happens.
Come on.
Nothing happens.
The probability of getting the vine on the second try was only 36.53%. Well done, Captain.
Probability? That was a perfect pitch if I ever saw one.
All right! We're on our way!
Alright. We have two vines are waiting to be supported. That's right, shimmy on up that vine. A little creeped out by the,
There is a vine hanging down.
Okay, that's all it says. It doesn't say it's a double vine now. Alright, let's get everyone up the vine. Wish I could queue them up. I mean, I guess you wouldn't want more than one person on the vine at a time anyways, but... Okay, now that gets everyone out of the pit.
Nothing to report. I'm picking up
Okay, well, it looks like we can walk this way, maybe? Alright. where are we now?
This great tree has been in this jungle for centuries. This great tree has been in... You are in a densely vegetated area. The overgrowth blocks your view in all directions. Trees to the left of you. Trees to the right of you. Into the valley of trees raced the landing party.
That sounds about right.
You are in a densely...
Doesn't look like there's anything here.
Kirk is wondering what he said that made Quetzalcoatl so angry. Spock is examining the surrounding terrain for signs of danger. Anything else would be illogical. McCoy is filled with premonitions of injury and death. Why else would they have brought him along? Lieutenant Strachey appears fascinated by the vines hanging from the trees.
So it looks like by staring at the moon we got a catastrophe instead of a miracle.
He doesn't seem to be in a talkative mood right now.
Staying in this overgrown region could prove quite dangerous. I suggest we continue, Captain.
I feel like someone is watching us, Captain. I feel like someone is watching.
You get no response.
This jungle is sure lush, Jim. Speaking of lush, I could use a nice Saurian brandy about now.
Actually, can we take...
I am reading a life form to the west. It appears to be humanoid.
Nothing interesting.
Okay, so McCoy can't give us ratings, so we'll keep walking to the left then.
I am Tolokzak, priest of Quetzalcoatl. Only one who knows his ways may approach his holy ground.
Your security officer looks at you for orders and perhaps inspiration. You are James Tiberius Kirk, captain of the USS Enterprise. Spock looks small compared to the great warrior. McCoy seems rather nervous. You look but see nothing of note. Primitive lights illuminate this savage scene.
It looks like there's...
You look but see nothing of... Towering over your security officer, holding a great spear in his huge hand, the great warrior Tolokzak will let no one pass him. You look but see nothing of... You are James Tiberius...
It was locking onto me.
McCoy seems... Spock looks You get no response.
Did you ever get the feeling that people don't like you?
Perhaps our host will be more reasonable now. I recommend trying to locate him, Captain.
Nice planet. I kind of like it.
He doesn't seem to be in a talkative mood right now.
Alright.
Nothing to report.
Medical tricorder report.
Well, either this Aztec is a real flesh and blood human being, or I'm going to be retired as soon as I get back to the Enterprise.
Interesting.
I will not listen to your deceitful ways. I will not listen.
Oh, let's throw the snake at him.
Indeed, you know the ways of Quetzalcoatl, but only a man of courage, one who will shed blood, will pass.
Okay, well, the snake was looking to bite us, so...
Self-sacrifice is the noblest quality of humanity. You may go. Beware the monster in the water. You may have my knife to defend yourself.
Oh, okay.
You see a jewel-encrusted, gold-colored knife.
Mr. Spock, tricorder readings.
Nothing to report.
Really? Okay. Guess we'll just take it.
You pick up the beautifully crafted knife. A beautifully crafted stone knife inlaid with Aztec patterns.
Oh, since he'll let us go, I guess we'll just keep going. This music is so tense.
Below this rock is a large growth of mushrooms.
Can we get the
You
mushrooms?
fail to obtain...
Apparently not.
You are in a dark forest. You can hear the flow of water to the northwest. Familiar glowing spheres light the path. Lieutenant Strachey smiles as he strolls down the path. Mr. Spock analyzes the surroundings. McCoy doesn't want to be bothered right now. James T. Kirk realizes that every step increases their danger. You are in a dark forest.
Now, for the record,
I'm reading a life form to the west, Captain.
Snakes were pretty big in Aztec culture, I think. And obviously human sacrifice was, explains why the sacrifice thing worked. You know what, I want to talk.
He doesn't seem to...
It's getting a little cool out here. Keep warm. I don't want a bunch of sick crewmen when we get back to the ship. If we ever do get back to the ship.
Fascinating. The trees are able to grow very close together in this forest, Captain.
Does every planet-side mission have this much adventure, Captain? Mind you, I can't say Mr. Quetzalcoatl is making a very good impression on me.
Actually, you know what I thought? Can we use the knife to
Nothing happens.
gather the mushrooms? Why is this highlighted?
Below this rock is a lot... Below this rock is a...
Alright, it looks like the only path is north, so let's go there. Okay, so it looks like there's a creature in the water, but let's look
There is a
first.
slow, muddy river blocking your path. A strong, thick log serves as a footbridge. The river is unmoving, and the heat and stillness are oppressive. A pair of eyes are all that you can see of the rest of this creature. Most of it is hidden beneath the murky water. The river water is too muddy to get an idea of its depth, or what may be beneath its surface. There is a slow, muddy river blocking your path.
Nope, we had that one already.
You look but see nothing. You look but see nothing.
Can't look at the log?
The log looks quite old but sturdy.
Okay.
Mr. Spock is looking ahead to a cave opening on the other side of the log. Dr. McCoy is looking at the big creature in the water. Captain Kirk is looking at the big creature in the water. Lieutenant Strachey is looking at the big creature in the water.
Reminds me of a planet I was stationed on once. The native boys were real friendly. Ensign Shu had his bachelor party there. Great time. You ever been to Omicron Draconis, Captain?
Can't say that I have.
I recommend caution here, Captain.
Anyone for campfire?
He doesn't seem to be in a...
Okay, so Kirk really doesn't want to talk, apparently. In that case, let's...
The tricorder registers a life form, a large marine creature lurking just below the surface of the water. The tricorder registers... Nothing to...
Okay, well, we already knew that. McCoy?
Jim, there's some kind of an aquatic creature down there.
Thanks, McCoy. Actually, let's...
This plant has a rather thick stem and prickly leaves.
Tricorder readings, Mr. Spock.
It appears that the leaves are slightly toxic. I would not recommend touching it for an extended amount of time, Captain.
McCoy? Herbalism would be up your alley?
There's nothing there
Apparently not, but since we don't want to touch it, we'll use the knife to grab it. Alright, can we look?
This large fern has a rather thick stem and prickly leaves.
Do we still?
This snake is just
we
waiting.
do have the snake. Now can we use the tricorder on this thing? Oh, if it's toxic, we could try to use the fern on this guy. Ah, hey,
It would appear that the plant secretes a chemical that is a natural repellent to the creature. It has retreated far downstream, Captain.
well, let's verify that with tricorder readings.
The tricorder shows nothing unusual, Captain. The creature is still downstream.
Okay, well then I guess we can go across the log. Alright, let's go around.
Darkness leading into the unknown. They appear to be ordinary rocks. Spock's tricorder might say otherwise. Lieutenant Strachey looks nervously at the stalactites hovering precariously above you. James Kirk remembers the last time he was in a cave and is glad that this one seems more peaceful. As usual, Dr. McCoy looks annoyed by the mission. Spock is his usual stoic self. Stalactites descend from the ceiling.
I should warn you, the stalactites could collapse quite easily. Any sudden motion could cause large quantities of stalactites to fall on us.
Well, isn't this just great?
Doctor, I would point out that your voice could also trigger such a collapse.
Will you two stop arguing just once? Then, gentlemen, I would advise you to stop arguing. You know, some shore leave sounds pretty good right now.
That is not at all what the dialogue says. Sometimes I feel like I'm the captain of a nursery school.
Will you two stop? Then, gentlemen, I would advise you to stop arguing.
It would seem to be a prudent course of action, Captain, if Dr. McCoy would agree.
Darkness leading in. Stalagmites rise from the floor of the cave.
Remember, stalactites hold tight to the ceiling, while stalagmites are mighty because they're in the ground or something. I forget.
It is a large cluster of crystals.
Backwater readings, Mr. Spock. Actually,
I've lost any appetite I may have had for squid, Jim.
I would suggest we continue on, Captain. It would not be logical to endanger ourselves by remaining here.
Reminds me of some spelunking I did on Hades 4. Ever do any climbing, Captain?
Have you ever made it up the face of Half Dome, Lieutenant?
If we ever get back to Earth, 100 credits says I'll beat you.
Captains and security officers, they don't realize how fragile the human body can be.
Sure we do. That's the challenge.
He doesn't seem to...
alright. Well, backwater readings, Mr. Spock.
Fascinating. These rocks are limestone, but contain an unusually high content of heavy metals. There are dilithium crystals here, but in a very raw form. This appears to be a formation of raw dilithium crystals, Captain.
You will need something to pry it loose.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect job for the knife, then.
You have one dilithium crystal in raw form. A dilithium crystal in raw form.
Well, it doesn't seem to be anything else here, so let's continue westward. Continue westward. Hey, the treehouse.
I watched as you worked through the problems I set in your path. You are a valiant, intelligent species. Please sit down. We have much to discuss.
I've had it up to here, with so-called superior beings terrorizing my crew because we're so primitive. Maybe you should see how primitive you are before you go around testing others. One thing first, if you're so peaceful, how come the Aztecs were so violent and aggressive? Yes, I guess we do. Go on. I've had it up to here. One thing first, if you're so peaceful, how come the Aztecs were so violent and aggressive?
I tried to teach them the concept of self-sacrifice. It would appear they did not completely understand my teachings. You are clearly not the liars I thought you to be. Were you telling me the truth about my disciples? That they became ruthless savages?
The Federation is not in the business of lying, mister. Absolutely. Your best intentions were changed by the imperfect humans that you left in charge after you departed. Such is the way of our race, I'm afraid. You messed up in a big way. Perhaps you should try following the Prime Directive. It changed our lives. The Federation... Absolutely. Your best intentions were changed by the imperfect humans that you left in charge after you departed. Such is the way of our race, I'm afraid.
I will say a lot of these superior species should follow the Prime Directive.
I sense truth in this. Perhaps this is what happened to my children on the Klingon world of Rakur, which would explain why they are searching for me. I have clearly abused the power that was given me long ago.
You show great wisdom, sir, but your statement implies that you wish to change your condition.
Indeed. If my mission of peace was overthrown, then I am no longer worthy of my power. Tell me, has your species made progress in the medical arts?
We're a technologically advanced starfaring race. What do you think? That we wouldn't have made progress in medicine?
Well, the Klingons exist.
With Dr. McCoy, I sometimes wonder, but yes, I would say we have made considerable advances. Yes, why do you ask?
At the top of my spine is a gland not found in your species. This is the seat of my power. I wish you to remove it, thereby making me immortal.
Jim, I'll try, but the physiology is completely alien.
You've got to do it, Bones. If the Klingons realize he's no longer a threat to them, perhaps we can avoid a war. Scotty, 5 to beam up.
Captain, 3 Klingon heavy battlecruisers have just entered the system. Admiral Kenka is hailing us, sir.
Federation starship, this is Admiral Blick Kinka of the Clearta. You harbor a criminal who has caused the destruction of the entire population of Rakkor. We are not prepared to negotiate. You will proceed to Rakkor, where a court of Klingon justice will be convened. If you refuse, we shall destroy you.
Admiral Vlicht, the criminal of whom you speak, is in the middle of a very delicate medical procedure. He cannot be handed over to anyone at this time. I cannot believe Quetzalcoatl's mission to Rakkor would cause the deaths of the entire planet. Since when do Klingons give orders to Federation officers, Admiral? I realize it's difficult for a Klingon, but don't be a fool. Admiral, I cannot believe Quetzalcoatl's mission to Rakkor would cause the deaths of the entire planet.
His attempt to corrupt the Empire with his philosophy led to the destruction of all life on Rakkor.
How could a philosophy of peace and non-violence cause the destruction of all life on Rakkor?
Rakkor has been governed by my family for generations, but even they were corrupted by him. It was a matter of honor that his lies had to be silenced, no matter what the cost.
My God, you killed your own people just because they acquired a philosophy that you disagreed with? So you killed them, your own family. You were responsible for the deaths, not Quetzalcoatl. You murdered them. You're insane. Tell me, how much do your commanders know about what you did? Or do you need to kill Quetzalcoatl to hide your own deeds? My God, you killed your own people just because they acquired a philosophy that you disagreed with?
It was that creature's fault. Had he not interfered in our affairs, the people of Rakkor would be alive. Clearly, he is responsible.
Message from Starfleet Command.
I'll argue this with you later, Vlicht.
Contact your superiors, Kirk. You may be surprised.
I have bad news, Captain. The Organians have ruled that Quetzalcoatl's interference in Klingon affairs renders him subject to Klingon law. You are to turn your prisoner over to them at Rakkor. Klingon law will permit you to observe or aid in his defense. But be very careful, Jim. Starfleet out.
Captain, you cannot turn him over to those butchers. That would be murder.
We have no choice, Scotty. I'm afraid Quetzalcoatl has a date with Klingon justice. Set course for Rakkor, Mr. Chekhov.
Alright, I guess we have to defend them in a Klingon court of law now.
Captain's log. We have come to the ruined Klingon planet of Rakkor to deliver our guest, the mythical entity Quetzalcoatl, to a Klingon court. Dr. McCoy, Mr. Spock, and Ensign Benny and I have been granted permission by the Organians to witness this trial, which I expect to be a travesty of any meaningful definition of justice. Spock, come with me. Mr. Scott, you have the comm.
Oh, we don't get to use our computer?
The prisoner and his witnesses will stand forth, so the trial may begin.
This city was destroyed by heavy bombardment and intense doses of neutrino rays that killed all known forms of life on this planet. You look but see nothing of note. This is the famous seal of the Klingon Empire. This bench is marked with the symbol of the Klingon Court of High Justice. The 2 triangles of words and blood linked together. Admiral Vlicht, commander of the Klingon flagship Clerta. A Klingon guard. A big Klingon guard. A big Klingon guard with his disruptor ready to fire on anyone who gives him trouble. James T. Kirk, trapped in a situation he cannot win, forced to watch a travesty of justice. Or is he? Your newfound friend looks rather frightened right now, and you don't blame him. Mr. Spock looks stoically at the Klingon bench. Expecting to win this case would be illogical. Ensign Benny stares around the Klingon court, distrusting everything he sees. Dr. McCoy glares angrily at Kirk. It is obvious he does not like seeing his patient handed over to the Klingons. He doesn't seem to...
I'm frightened, Captain. But if I am to die, then I shall die well.
Captain, I estimate the odds of this court acquitting Quetzalcoatl at 0.086%.
Awaiting your orders, sir.
I've got nothing to say to you, Jim.
Oh, they actually let us have our phasers, so we could try to just shoot them, but that probably wouldn't go so well, so why don't we step where he told us to.
So, Kirk, we finally meet. I had thought it would be in battle, but the universe holds many surprises.
There's nothing less appealing than a gloating Klingon, Vlicht. Let's get this trial underway. Stick around, Vlicht. There are more surprises awaiting you. Why does every Klingon tell me they expected to meet me in battle? You really have a one-track mind. There's nothing less appealing than a gloating Klingon, Vlicht. Let's get this trial underway. Stick around, Vlicht. There are more surprises awaiting you.
So be it! This begins the trial of the entity Quetzalcoatl, who is charged with impersonating a Klingon, stirring dissent, encouraging cowardice, and treason in the highest degree.
Those are serious charges, Vlicht. Should he not be tried by a Klingon High Court?
He has not demonstrated honor, Kirk. Only a proven warrior may be tried in High Court. Principles of honor are not applicable to his defense.
I'm a warrior, Vlicht. I hereby intervene for him and demand the honors and responsibilities of a warrior's trial. And this trial is a mockery for the entire galaxy to see. Oh, well, I'm afraid you're on your own, Quetzalcoatl. I'm a warrior, Vlicht. I hereby intervene for him and demand the honors and responsibilities of a warrior's trial.
So we can just give Quetzalcoatl to him, but we're not going to do that.
A Federation officer claiming the rights of a Klingon warrior. How dare you insult me, Kirk?
I've faced Klingons both in personal and ship-to-ship combat. Your own records will confirm this. If I'm not worthy of their honors, why didn't they kill me?
That oversight, Kirk, is easily rectified. You and your 3 companions may face the test that we set for the Defender. Then we shall see if you are as worthy as a Klingon.
I want your word of honor, Vlicht, that Quetzalcoatl will not be harmed while we take these tests.
Very well. You have my word. Captain Calarax, transport them to the test of life.
Oh, Commander Calarax.
What is this place?
Not much is known about Hrakur, Ensign. This would appear to be some sort of a mining installation. That creature might be a native life form.
A test of courage? That is the Klingon way.
I somehow doubt that Vlicht intends for us to survive this, whatever the outcome. We're the only thing that stands between him and the killing of Quetzalcoatl that he can justify.
Why should he worry about justification, Captain? He's a Klingon. Murder is as natural to them as breathing.
That's not true, Ensign. However, I suspect that Vlicht's attack on Hrakur exceeded his orders. He needs Quetzalcoatl as a scapegoat, and he needs a fair trial to avoid an inquiry of his own actions.
And our deaths will be the only way he can get it. Great!
Oh, let's look around.
You look but see nothing of note.
Thought I saw something over here.
These wooden rods are support beams that were not placed. The floor is incomplete, made of unrefined natural rock. A field of static lightning. It seems to be moving in a purposeful manner. You look but see nothing. A slightly antiquated Klingon lock mechanism. James T. Kirk, hero of the galaxy. You look but see nothing of note. Your ever-logical friend, Spock. Your ever-dependable crewman, Ensign Benny. Your ever-emotional friend, Dr. McCoy. You look but see nothing. You look but see nothing. The floor is incomplete. These wooden rods are... This section of wall was carved by some sort of plasma field.
How could you do it, Jim? I spent hours trying to save his life, and you just gave him away in seconds to the Klingons.
You've handled those Klingons well, sir. We've got them on the run now.
Shut up, Benny.
Why do I have the feeling that I'm about to have a bad day?
Hey, Kirk finally talks.
Captain, I have calculated the odds of surviving this at...
Shut up, Spock.
Alright.
This creature is composed of electrical fields. I would not recommend approaching it. A metal projectile might disrupt its fields and render it harmless. This rock has a high iron content. These wooden rods are support beams that were not placed. This wall was carved from the natural rock.
Okay. medically tricorder.
It does not register as a known life form. Male human, good physical condition. One male human Vulcan hybrid, excellent physical condition. He's a male human, excellent physical condition. One male human, average physical condition.
Oh, come on, Bones, you gotta work out harder. But let's see if we can melt the floor, maybe?
You melt some of the rock.
Excellent. Now we can dip this. And since the rock is iron, by coating this and letting it
You
dry.
coat the rod with molten iron. It hardens quickly.
We can make a metal object that we can now throw into the creature.
As I suspected, Captain, the creature is in stasis. It should awaken in 3.48 days.
I bet it'll be mad.
Nothing to
I want
report.
to know how that works, but okay. Mr. Spock, use your tricorder on
An
the panel.
entry coder for the door, keyed to a number sequence. The tricorder is unable to determine the code, but can scan the mechanism. Nothing to report, Captain.
Okay, so scan it.
An entry coder for the door. An entry coder for the door, keyed to a number sequence. The tricorder is unable to determine the code, but can scan the mechanism. An entry coder for An entry coder for...
Okay, then Mr. Spock.
We do not know the code.
Oh, right, we can use the Enterprise.
Captain, there is a force field between us and the planet. We have your position at approximately 30 meters beneath the surface of Rakor, and what appears to be the ruins of an archaeological dig. Keep us informed. We'll help you all we can. We can analyze any data you gather through the main computer.
Uhura, prepare to receive a tricorder message. There is a door with an entry coder here. Try to analyze the circuits and let the main computer crack the code.
Scan complete. Main computer has the code. We also read an anomaly. Something else has tapped into the key code. Shall I analyze?
I want that door open. Affirmative, Uhura. I want that door... Affirmative, Uhura.
Sir, we have a secondary code that is nested in the Klingon program. Computer is unable to analyze its function. Shall we broadcast it to you when you activate the keypad?
Affirmative. Negative. Transmit the door entry code only. Affirmative.
Good luck, Captain.
Something tells me that, we don't... that second code is meant to kill us, but... Alright, Mr. Spock, get us in that door. Now we're in a interesting...
What is this place?
This is not Klingon technology, Captain.
Even I can see that, you pointy-eared freak.
Gentlemen, I suggest we start trying to find out what this is. I have a feeling we've come someplace Flick wasn't expecting us to go.
You look but see nothing of note. You look but see nothing of... Openings on the platform. Place something in these holes. You look but see nothing. A strange yellow light. This large gem appears to be a sapphire of unusual size. This is obviously artificial. This large gem appears to be an emerald of unusual size. This is obviously artificial. This large gem appears to be a ruby of unusual size. This is obviously artificial.
Okay.
I suspect, Captain, that the machinery is activated by placing the gems in the proper slots. We should determine a system for this.
Obviously, they want us to place the gems in the holes, but which one?
I guess I should have taken a few more science courses at the academy.
We've got to get out of here, Jim.
Enterprise.
Your communicator is...
Okay, I guess we can't use the Enterprise.
Your tricorder's recording functions are working, but it does not seem to be able to analyze. Your tricorder's recording...
Nothing to report, Captain. Nothing to report. Nothing to report. Nothing to report. Captain, it seems to be some sort of interface device, but I do not know how to activate it.
Well. Let's take and set them up like they are on that panel. Okay, so let's set up right on the left. Because we can't actually interact with them. Can we walk out, I guess? Guess not. So, green. And blue.
That combination is restricted to higher order functions. Neural interlink required.
Nothing to report, Captain.
Well, we can see what it is.
Not prime for neural interlink.
Alright. So. Let's try putting one of these.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Okay. Oh, if we take 2 reds and a green.
Alien vessels scanned.
Alright.
Not prime for neural interlink.
So he's used the he scanned this. What if we go all 3 green?
That combination is restricted to higher order functions. Neural interlink required.
As we notice, it says light of knowledge, and we have this green beam, so maybe we're just
Not prime for neural interlink.
supposed to use all greens.
This is Bialbi, High Mentalic of Rakur. For defense, use the light of war. For information, use my light. For transportation, use the light of travel. Sequences are keyed by combinations of crystals. Integrator now active.
So if we used all red, that would be the light of war, and we could probably annihilate people. All blue would just beam us back. But let's talk to light of knowledge, because we like knowledge. Knowledge is good. Actually, before we do that, I'll do it.
We've got to get out of...
Spock, do you have any comments?
I suspect, Captain, that the machinery...
Apparently not. Mr. Spock.
Nothing to report.
Your tricorders.
Captain, it seems to be some...
Fine.
This is Bialbi, the most advanced life form on this world.
That's
Thank you
pretentious.
for informing us of the situation. It shall be resolved. Admiral Vlicht, this is the defensive system of Rakur. You have engaged in genocidal activities on this world. Have you anything to say before your sentence is passed?
Kirk! This is your doing!
No, Admiral, it is not. But that will suffice as a final public statement. The sentence is banishment to you and all members of your crew who were involved in this action.
You have no right to try me!
I have as much right as you to conduct trials on this planet. You showed no justice to your victim. The penalty for injustice is death.
Kirk!
Hoist on your own petard, Vlicht. Do you want me to help you? You tried to send me to my death. Now you can rot as you get what you deserve. If I have your word that Quetzalcoatl goes free, I'm willing to intervene to save you. Hoist on you tried. If I have your word that Quetzalcoatl goes free, I'm willing to intervene to save you.
We are such nice people.
Agreed.
A life for a life is a just bargain, but his crimes are beyond count.
I do not see what can be served by more killing.
Idealism, an advanced concept. Naive, perhaps, but charming in its simplicity. Admiral Vlicht, the entity Quetzalcoatl shall be set free. If you ever return to this sector, the sentence shall be carried out. No Klingon vessel may ever return to this world.
Very well. I agree to your terms.
As for you, Captain, you may return. I find your social development most pleasing.
I fear that politics will make it impossible. Your planet is in Klingon space, but I don't understand why the Klingons never detected you.
Their archaeological digs did come close, Captain, but I am very elusive. I waited and monitored the situation and chose to reveal myself to you. Now you may go. Heed my warning, Vlicht. I shall not be merciful a second time.
Klingon ship leaving the area.
We will be setting course for Digifal. It's the closest thing to a home that Quetzalcoatl has.
It would appear everything worked out for the best.
Except for the people of Rakur, Mr. Spock. Except for the dead.
We have read your report on the problems at Rakur and evaluate your performance at 100%. You and your crew received 4 commendation points. A perfect mission, Jim. You are a model for all Starfleet.
A little disappointed they didn't have anything to leave us laughing. But,
Captain's log.
That gives us another 4 commendation points, so that levels up our crew some. And actually, I do want to look in the computer to see what information they have on Quetzalcoatl.
Topic not.
Am I spelling that wrong? Let's try.
Quetzalcoatl.
There we go.
A mythical Terran deity worshipped by the Aztec culture. Aztec, an ancient Earth culture located in the southern portion of the North American continent, with advanced mathematical and agricultural skills, but a religion that encouraged human sacrifice. Their chief deity was Quetzalcoatl. The Aztec civilization was destroyed by European military conquerors, most notably Cortez.
Okay, so it wouldn't have helped us too much. You kind of had to have knowledge outside the game for this puzzle, to think of it, or just adventuring skills for, hey, let's use the only things we have on them and see if that works.
Topic.
Okay, so it doesn't tell us about the snake. It doesn't tell us about the assistant. Nothing about the LP, so that concludes this episode of Star Trek 25th Anniversary. So I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next time, and we'll see you then.